Airlines count on most seniors not asking, because the best help at airports is rarely announced out loud. If you are 65 or older, there are 7 practical perks that can make flying calmer, faster, and sometimes cheaper when you use the right words. The catch is simple: you must request them, and you must request them from the right person at the right moment. In this video, I will show you exactly what to say at booking, at check-in, at security, and at the gate, so you get a clear yes instead of vague answers. We will cover free mobility assistance, easier screening for travelers 75 plus in the United States, and the senior fares that do not always appear online. We will also talk about pre-boarding options, better seat placement when comfort is a concern, and how medical items can change what you can bring without extra hassle. I will keep it honest. Not every airline gives the same benefits, but every airport has staff who can help when you ask politely and specifically. By the end, you will have a simple script you can use on your next trip, and a checklist you can follow step by step. Perk 1 is mobility assistance, and it is not only for people who cannot walk at all, it is for travelers who have a real mobility limitation or fatigue concern. If long terminal distances, sore knees, balance issues, shortness of breath, recent surgery, or heavy carry-ons make walking stressful, you can request airport assistance through the airline. The simplest moment to do it is during booking, because your reservation can be tagged, so staff are ready when you arrive. If you can walk but need help over long distances, ask for ambulatory assistance, which usually means an escort, a cart, or a wheelchair for the long stretches. If you truly need a wheelchair, request wheelchair assistance and be clear about whether you need help only inside the airport or also down the jet bridge to your seat. When you arrive, go straight to the airline check-in desk and say, "I would like to confirm my mobility assistance request, and I may need extra time moving through the airport today." This often leads to guided help to the gate, less rushing, and a smoother handoff between checkpoints, especially in very large airports. If you only want help for one leg of the trip, ask for it one way, because assistance can be added or removed per flight segment. The key is honesty. Describe your limitation calmly, because staff respond best when they understand what you actually need. Perk 2 is easier screening for passengers age 75 and older in the United States, which is often called modified screening, not TSA PreCheck. Many travelers 75 plus may be allowed to keep shoes on and move through screening with a few extra conveniences, depending on the airport and equipment in use. If you are 75 plus and the line feels overwhelming, you can politely tell a TSA officer your age and ask, "Is there a modified screening process available for passengers 75 and older today?" If you have a medical device, mobility aid, or a condition that makes screening difficult, you can ask for assistance and request a private screening if needed. A powerful option is TSA Cares, a support program that lets you request help in advance when you have a disability or medical condition. The right timing matters. Ask for TSA Cares support at least a few days before travel, and arrive early so the coordination actually works. Do not frame it as demanding special treatment. Frame it as safety and comfort, because that matches what staff are trained to provide. Once these first 2 perks are set, your entire airport experience changes, because you stop fighting the process and start using the process. Next, we will tackle the senior fares and quiet discounts that can lower the ticket price when you ask with the exact wording airlines recognize. Perk 3 is the senior fare, and the reason it feels invisible is that many airlines do not always display it as a big button during online booking. Some routes, dates, and fare classes may have a reduced senior option, but it can be limited, and it may require you to select the right passenger type or speak with an agent. When you call, avoid vague questions, and instead say, "I would like to check if there are any senior fares for passengers 65 and older on this itinerary." If the agent sounds unsure, follow with, "Could you please look under any age-based fare categories or unpublished senior options for these exact flights?" Be ready with flexibility, because the discount might exist on one departure time, but not another, and sometimes it is smaller than a sale fare you can find online. The money-saving habit is to compare, not assume, because a public promotion can beat a senior rate, and the best price is simply the best price. If you are booking for 2 people, ask whether the senior fare can be mixed with a standard fare in the same reservation, because sometimes only one traveler qualifies. Perk 4 is priority or pre-boarding, and the safest way to ask is to connect it to time and mobility, not to status or entitlement. At the gate you can say, "I would like to request pre-boarding. I need extra time due to age-related mobility considerations." This request is common. It usually does not require paperwork, and it can reduce stress because you can settle in without the crowd pressing behind you. If you do not need pre-boarding but still want less chaos, ask, "Is there an option for extra time boarding or a quieter boarding moment for senior travelers today?" Perk 5 is better seat placement, which is not the same as a guaranteed upgrade, but it can still make a long flight dramatically easier. The smart approach is to describe a comfort need, such as easier aisle access for restroom trips, leg stiffness that needs stretching, or back support concerns. At check-in, or at the gate, you can say, "If any aisle seats or more comfortable seats are available, I would appreciate a seat that supports my mobility and comfort." If the flight is not full, agents may be able to move you to a more suitable seat, and if it is full, they may still help you find the least difficult option. If you requested mobility assistance earlier, mention it briefly, because it signals consistency, and staff can align your seat location with your walking limits. Keep your tone calm and cooperative because agents have discretion, and polite clarity often works better than pushing for a free upgrade. Next, we will cover baggage and medical item rules, and the right way to ask for help during delays, so you avoid fees and get support when plans change. Perk 6 is the baggage and medical items advantage, and it is not a gimmick. It is about knowing what counts as an assistive or medical necessity item. If you travel with a CPAP, mobility aid, prescription medications, or other medically necessary supplies, ask the airline to clarify how those items are handled on your flight. In many cases, assistive devices are treated differently than regular carry-ons, and they may not count against your normal carry-on limit when they are packed as medical or assistive items only. The key detail is to keep medical and assistive items separate from personal shopping, because mixing them can cause the bag to be treated like a normal carry-on or checked bag. The simple phrase at check-in is, "These are medical and assistive items for my trip. Could you please note that and confirm the correct handling?" If you are checking bags and you have medical supplies that cannot be delayed, keep essentials in your personal item and ask about any labeling or special handling they recommend. If you are a military veteran, Perk 7 can exist, but it varies by airline, so the right move is to ask directly about veteran benefits rather than assume they apply. You can say, "I am a veteran. Could you tell me what benefits apply on this airline for baggage or boarding, and what identification you need?" Even when a benefit is not available, staff can often point you to the correct policy page or the right desk, so you do not waste time arguing at the counter. Now, let's talk about the moment things go wrong, delays and cancellations, because this is when informed, polite seniors often get better support. When a delay happens, go to the gate agent or customer service desk early and say, "I am a senior traveler and I have mobility or medical considerations. What accommodation options are available while we wait?" Do not demand a lounge. Instead, ask about practical support, such as seating assistance, rebooking priority, or any vouchers that are provided under their disruption policies. If you have a tight connection, tell them clearly, because they may be able to reroute you, arrange a cart ride, or flag your record so the next gate knows you need extra time. If you have a disability or medical condition that makes the airport process hard, you can request help in advance through airport support programs, which can reduce stress on travel day. The master script that unlocks most of these perks is calm, specific, and focused on needs, not on privileges or threats. Say, "Hi, I am 65 and traveling today. I would like to ask what accommodations are available for mobility and comfort, so I can move safely through the airport." Then pause. Let them respond and choose the help that truly fits you, because the goal is a smoother trip, not collecting perks you do not need. Up next, I will summarize everything into a simple checklist you can follow, and a short call to action so you never forget to ask again. Today you learned 7 senior-friendly airport moves that work best when you ask early and ask politely. Start with mobility assistance. If long walks, heavy bags, or tired joints make the terminal feel overwhelming. If you are 75 plus in the United States, ask about modified screening and use TSA support options when medical needs apply. Check for senior fares by calling and using clear wording, then compare them against public sales to find the real best price. At the gate, request extra time boarding when you need it, because pre-boarding can remove the rush and reduce stress. For seating, describe comfort and mobility needs and ask for the most suitable option rather than demanding an upgrade. Keep medical and assistive items separate, confirm how they are handled, and ask about veteran benefits only as they apply to your airline. When delays happen, ask for accommodation options, because solutions are easier when you speak up early and calmly.